Hey, what's up guys, it's me again and welcome back to my channel Mayta What Ifs. Today I am back with a new short movie. The name of this short movie is What If Naruto Was a Neglected Genius? And yeah guys, it is an unscripted short movie and a basic idea as a title suggests, but with a different concept here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. It is a no ship story again, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, sorry for not uploading regularly, it's just too warm here, and the cherry on top is that my PC is on the upper level of my home, and since it only has a fan, it tends to get quite hot here. I mean, yeah, it's like a baking oven here, so yeah, I can't sit here for more than an hour or so. Even now, it's getting quite hot for me since I'm sweating all over the place. So yeah, I'm keeping myself hydrated and yeah, trying my best to not get sick again. You guys must do the same. I hope you guys are okay because no matter where you are, except for obviously, Iceland or something, you guys are gonna get, sick if you don't stay hydrated or so on. Anyways, enough said. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll try my best to be regular, but I guess it's not possible because of the weather. I'm just gonna try, okay? No promises. Anyways, enough said. Without any further ado, let's begin with our today's short movie. Our story begins in Konoha Kakare no Sato on October 10th, after the QB attack that has just recently happened and was stopped, all thanks to Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, and Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sani that was present at the time there. As now we go towards the council chamber, where we see the council meeting has just ended, as the Hokage has revealed what has transpired and how the strategy occurred. As Minato arrived inside his office, where he was met with the familiar gazes of Hiruzen Sarutobi, his wife, and his student Kakashi, and none the less Jiraiya, his sensei. As right next to them, in a crib that was brought there by Kakashi, were the triplets that were used to seal the Biju in them: Menma, Mito, and the youngest Naruto. Menma and Mito had red hair, both like their mother, and a little bit of palish skin, and blue eyes like her, while Naruto was a carbon copy of his father: blonde hair, blue eyes, and, well, a little bit of tannish skin. All three of the kids had whisker marks. Well, the only difference was that Naruto had three, the other had two. Naruto was given the soul since he was the youngest, while the chakra was split in yin and yang and was given to both Menma and Mito. And the seal that was used was not the Reaper Death Seal. It was instead a seal that was used to summon Kami herself. Now, instead, like Shinigami, Kami did made a pact and only took off a few years of life, instead of taking the life as in general, since it was the domain of her sister, Shinigami. And that is why both Minato and Kushina were alive and there, present. As Minato then said with a sigh, after entering and seeing all of them there, with a smile on his face, "Well, that takes care of the council meeting. Yeah, they do tend to get on the nerves," said Hiruzen. "Now, what are you going to do, Minato?" As Minato sighed and was now in deep thought. "You see, what happened was a few months ago, while they were preparing for, well, their children to be born, after finding out that they were going to have multiple kids, and they were preparing a room, there was a knock on the door, and in came Jiraiya and Hiruzen. Oh, sensei. Mm, uh, Hiruzen-sama, I did not knew that you were visiting," asked a shocked and flabbergasted Minato. "Oh, it's nothing. We were just here because Jiraiya had something important to discuss. He already revealed that to me, but I thought that you should also know about this." As now we see, both of them went inside, as Jiraiya then said, "I think it is best if you call Kushina here as well, because it concerns her and you and your family." After realizing that the situation was serious since his sensei was not his jolly and dandy self, he brought in his wife. "Alright, what is it that you wanted to talk about, Jiraiya?" "Hiruzen-sama," said Kushina, "I have been given a prophecy by the Toads," began Jiraiya, "and they are adamant that a child of prophecy will be born from you two. The Yellow Flash and the Red Death of Konoha, your monikers. These were revealed in the prophecy. The child will go through difficult trials, and a lot of hardships as well. And when the time is right, he has to choose whether to save the elemental nation from a great tragedy, or whether to just ignore it altogether and let it happen. What do you mean by that, Sensei? I don't understand, said Minato, after thinking for a bit and digesting what Jiraiya has just said. It is as I said, Minato. The child will go through hardships, and in the end, it it will be evident that the child wants to save us or not. As now we see, Minato and Kushina were left shocked when this was revealed to them. But we're going to have kids, triplets maybe, or twins. I'm not sure, but that is what the nurse said. As Jiraiya and Hiruzen's eyes widened, now this will put a halt in our plans. What plans? Said Minato. You see, Minato, when Jiraiya revealed this prophecy to me, I had an idea. What if we intercepted the prophecy? We never allowed the child to go through such hardships or hard times, allowing him to live in a loved and surrounded atmosphere in which he will be able to grow up without any hardships because you two will be with him, and so will be we. But now this sets us back. We have to wait and see who the child of prophecy is and choose the child correctly. When the time comes, we have to choose Minato. Always remember that. As now we go to present where we see Minato was still in shock as he remembered what has been said to him in the past. The time has come for him to choose. Choose who was the real child of prophecy. I don't understand. Do I have to choose? I mean, we can train the three of them, Minato. As much as I would love for that to happen, you and I both know that elemental nations doesn't have that much of a time. What happened tonight was quite evident of that. A person claiming to be Madara Uchiha is roaming around freely, somewhere in the elemental nation. We even don't know if it is correct or not, but his goal was to gather Bijus. Bijus? But I thought he was... Yes, he has been seen by my spy network, snooping around in the other villages as well. So seeing that he has targeted Konoha's Jinchuriki and the Biju mainly, his goal must be the other Bijus as well. This cannot be good, Jiraiya, said Hiruzen. Of course it isn't, just sensei. And that is why I am adamant that Minato must choose now, and carefully. Why do I have to choose it? Yeah, we can't choose between our children, but you have to. Because you too have the right to choose. I even, as well, who was just a messenger of this prophecy, cannot choose between the children. It is your responsibility, Minato. The rest of the fate and future of the elemental nation now rest upon your decision. Just give us a few years to decide. As both Hiruzen and Jiraiya looked at each other, I think that would be best, Jiraiya. A few years won't hurt that much. And in the given time, they will test out the strength and abilities of their children. Isn't that right? Yes. I mean, it will help us. As now we see, time began to pass by as it was already decided. And soon, 6 years have gone by in the blinks of an eye. And during these 6 years, as soon as the children were able to stand and walk and talk on their own, they were put to rigorous training. Because they had a huge legacy to fulfill, and not only that, they had a huge prophecy to fulfill as well. Now Mito was a prodigy in Uzumaki arts, and was quite serious, as she was a Fuinjutsu mistress as well as a Kenjutsu mistress, relying on her Fuinjutsu techniques as well as Kenjutsu techniques as a whole. And as for Menma, he was, just like his father, somewhat of a Fuinjutsu master, but he was already at the age of 6, was on the basics of learning Rasengan after learning and mastering most of the jutsus. Now comes the Naruto, the youngest. His parents were not surprised because most of the children that were normal were like Naruto. They always tend to struggle a bit, and that Naruto was. But he was trying his best. Both his parents could see. But that all came to an end when Jiraiya and Hiruzen visited them again. It was on their 7th birthday, as the kids were in the stairways, unbeknownst to everyone, as all of them were present in the lounge. As now we see, Jiraiya then said, "It has been a few years, Minato, and I have gathered a lot of intel as well on my own. Turns out it isn't good. That man has formed an organization, or joined it, known as Akatsuki. and they have been acting as mercenaries. Most of them now consist of the criminals from other villages, and Orochimaru is without a surprise amongst them. This cannot be good, Sensei, said Minato. Of course it isn't. Now, Minato, we are here because what we discussed all those years ago. You haven't given enough time. Have you come to a conclusion, you and both Kushina, who is the child of prophecy? Both Menma and M- Mito show, well, great attributes, but Naruto is also trying his best. And to be honest, we know because Naruto possesses the soul, and because of him being the Jinchuriki of the soul is hindering Naruto's well powers, learning powers, and abilities. So it is decided Naruto is out of equation. You have to focus on both Mito and Naruto the best you can. I will train personally Menma. Mito will be trained by, well, Tsunade, because the next generation of the Sanin is needed by the village, and no better than us to pass the torch on to them. But Sensei, what about Naruto? I can only offer the Torch Summoning Clan to one other person, and that will be Menma. I have decided. Since he is like you in attributes as well as in strengths, I have decided that. And Tsunade has offered to train the girl if she has the strength and stamina. And judging from what you have told me, I think she is more than, well, enough qualified for that. But what about Naruto sensei? Let him go to the academy, as usual. So we're gonna remain here and take care of them? Yes, you will remain here, but focus on Menma and Mita more. Because the world's future rely on them. They are the children of prophecy. They are burdened with the responsibility of saving everyone. As unbeknownst to them that the kids were hearing this, Menma and Mito were also quite shocked after finding out that they were the children of prophecy, as they now had to focus and work hard. They felt bad for Naruto, obviously, but they had to focus. They couldn't put aside the whole elemental nation, while all the while Naruto was quite shocked by all of this. And he decided at that very moment that he would try his best to not let his parents down. But as time began to went by, the years began to pass by. Naruto and his siblings' gap only grew after that incident. And soon, when the years flew by, both Minato and Kushina were now focusing on Menma and Mito. Menma and Mito were constantly reminded of their responsibility by the parents as well as by the people around them, giving them no chance to make any bonds except for both of them, and even ignoring Naruto because they didn't have enough time. When they found time, they were both extremely tired. They would see and feel bad for their youngest because they knew that he was being left alone unattended. But Naruto had never spoken about this. He always had tried his best, and Menma and Mito were the only ones who were seeing this, and it hurted them to no end because Naruto at multiple events have gotten hurt and even scolded by their parents because he was doing things unsupervised. When he tried to reason, his parents would shut him up by sending him to his room, and that was hurting both of his older siblings as well. And they began to wonder what would have happened if they were in Naruto's situation. Would they have been in the same situation as well? As now we see, it was the academy year, as Naruto and his siblings have joined the academy. Now obviously because of the gap, Naruto was an average student. Still, but his siblings were the top in both Shinobi and Konoichi sector, as they were going to graduate as such. And so, they finally reached the graduation year, as Naruto has been trying his best and was getting closer and closer to his siblings. As Menma and Mito were happy with that, but they knew that they didn't have time. When they found time, even in the academy, as soon as they were near Naruto to begin conversation, they would be surrounded by the other clan heads' children and would be pulled away. Naruto obviously didn't want it to bother them, would slip past by them. As now we go towards Naruto's perspective, as we see him sitting inside his room after returning from the academy one more day after being ignored. The people ignored his existence as if he wasn't important. His own parents began to ignore him and, well, scold him for him messing things up while all he was doing was trying his best to not let them down. As now we see Naruto sighed and then slumped down on his bed and closed his eyes again. And what awaited him on the other side was huge barred gates from behind which two red-blooded eyes opened, but they were not filled with any malicious intent or hatred. Instead, they were just that, eyes. You're back again, kid. Of course I am. You big fox. You know, that is quite disrespectful. You can call me by the name. You and I both know QB is not your name. It's just a title given to you by everyone who hates you. You don't hate me? No, I don't. I mean, you're the only person I get to talk to, so why would I hate you? As QB chuckled. So, are you gonna tell me your name or what? Fine, kid. Kurama. My name is Kurama. Huh, that is a nice name. I know. So, how did you got this name again? My father gave it to me, obviously, kid, said Kurama while rolling his eyes. You never mentioned your father. Who was he, like a huge nine-tailed fox as well? As QB scowled. Obviously, no. I am a being made out of chakra, kid. My father was the sage himself. Wow, seriously? Yes. My father was the sage himself. The sage of the sixth path. But why would sage create you and the other Bijus? As Kurama was quite pleased why the kid asked this question. For one reason, for us to spread the knowledge about his teachings to the world. You mean that was the reason? But why do everyone hates you and think you're a monster? As QB growled, because of you humans. What? What do you mean by that? Your kind has been harsh to us kids. Since the day they found out about us, they has seen nothing more than monsters because of our appearances. Even our father had to step in multiple times, but the people still continue to hate us because we are more powerful. We are beings that couldn't be controlled until they found a way. And once they did, they began to see us with greed-filled eyes like we were some sort of animals that could be used as their attacking lapdogs. And henceforth the Jinchuriki term was made. The ultimate sacrifice of human and Biju together. That is quite sad. It is not sad, it is hell, kid. Hell that we live through. All of my siblings have. Some of them have made peace with their Jinchurikis and have made the best out of the situation, while the others, not so much. So you have been captured here for more than hundreds of years, kids. You're my third Jinchuriki, you and your siblings both. Oh, I see. As Kurama's eyes then softened, but I don't blame you. You didn't ask for this, so that is why I don't hate you that much. Because you had no say in this. Your mother and Mayta, on the other hand, they had a reason. They could have stopped this, but they didn't. I even requested them before she died and before your mother became a Jinchuriki, but they didn't listen. Because they were told that I was nothing more than a mindless beast. If you were a mindless beast, then we wouldn't have this conversation, right? Of course, kid. Of course. As that is when we see Naruto wasn't informed that it was already morning again and he had to go back to academy. You know, I don't realize that how come the time passes here so swiftly and I don't realize that, well, the night is peaceful. It is because I allow your body to rest and only a fragment of your consciousness is awake while your whole body and conscious rests. Oh, I see. Thanks, I guess, Kurama. I promise I won't tell what is going on between us to anyone. Good. I trust you, kid. The first one to trust after thousands of years. I won't break your trust, Kurama, said Naruto as he moved to the other side of the cage and placed a hand on his huge paw. As Kurama's eyes widened, I don't feel scared of you. If anything, you are my friend. And believe me when I say this, I will find a way to free you and your siblings when the time comes. As now we see, Kurama for the first time smiled and said, We'll see that, kid. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now why didn't you go to the academy? As Naruto left, we go to Kurama's thoughts. You see, Kurama was the first one to make a move. After being sealed inside Naruto and hearing about all this bullshit that Jiraiya mentioned, he knew what the sage has said would break the family one way or another and would cause great hurt to one person or the others, or all of them. And that is what happened because at the age of 4, when at the age of 6, after being found out that, well, Man Mito will be the one who might have potential to be the child of prophecy, and Naruto beginning to be ignored and, well, left out from his family, he was hurted the most. And seeing that, Kurama, even while being a monster or called a demon, couldn't hold back. He knew he had to console the kid some way or another, and so he approached the kid. At the time, he did not knew what he was doing other than just consoling a kid who was torn apart by his own family. He did not knew that it would be the start of a great friendship, of how he would build a trust on humans again. And after that, whenever Naruto was alone, Kurama was there with him, for him. And so, now we go towards present, where we see Kurama with a small smile on his face. I think he's the one. He's the one who deserves your knowledge, father, and I will pass it down to him. As after the academy ended, Naruto was barely able to pass the test, being an average student as he was, and was now going to be placed in a team. And as soon as he returned, he found that his parents weren't there. His smile fell. He was happy to show his parents his headband that he got after, well, passing the exams. Turns out his family has left to celebrate on their own, since his, well, siblings were at the top Konoichi and Shinobi Rookie of the Year. As Naruto then sat down next to his door with the headband in his hands, with a small smile on his face that could be sad, until tears began to fall down from his eyes onto the headband. He was close to breaking point, and Kurama could see, as Kurama too was sad of seeing his friend in this condition, as seeing he had enough. Something inside Kurama broke, seeing that the kid was trying his best for all these years to catch up and then try to get his parents' attention by working hard and hard until he achieved what he wanted to, and that was to become a shinobi and not stay in their name. And even then, they ignored him outright like he didn't existed. It hurted Naruto, and more than him, it hurted Kurama, because he knew firsthand what it felt like to be betrayed. As Kurama then said, "Kid, calm down. I'm here for you, no?" "Yeah, I guess you're right." As Naruto, using the back door, went and opened the window and got inside, and then went inside his room. Closing the door shut, we see sniffles were heard from the other side. All my life I tried my best. I didn't want it to I didn't want it to get in their way, and thought that it would be best if I tried on my own on the other side to get their attention, instead of hogging all over it or crying about it. But in the end, now I realize no matter how hard I try, I just don't matter. As now we see, the family returned late at night. In the meantime, Kurama was able to console Naruto until he fell asleep. As now we see, both of the siblings begin to make their way upstairs, as that is when Mito stopped with wide eyes as she gasped. As Menma turned around, "What is it, Mito?" "Nissan, we forgot about Naruto." As Menma too was shocked, as this was the first time he realized his own brother, whom he has watched from afar suffering for so long. How could he have missed him out? How could his parents have missed him out? We missed him out? Again. It happened again, Nissan. We have to go. As now we see, both of the siblings made their way towards Naruto's door, and were able to unlock it as well, thanks to Fujitsu arts of Mito finding it locked, and saw a scene that broke them. Naruto had dried tear marks on his eyes, and on his face, as in one hand it was his Konoha shinobi headband, that too was stained by the dry mark of his tears, as he was sleeping while clutching it with one hand. As both of the siblings, after seeing this, went near Naruto and woke him up. "Naruto?" As Naruto, finding his siblings there with red eyes that were close to breaking out with the dam of tears that they were holding, then got up. "What is it? Is everything okay?" As without saying anything, both of the siblings hugged their little brother and said, "We apologize. I'm so sorry, I didn't notice. We are sorry. No matter how much we apologize, we know what we have done is is unforgivable, but I hope you'll find in your heart to forgive us, said both Menma and Mito, breaking down because they were the ones watching Naruto from afar. They were the ones that were hogging off all of the parents' attention from Naruto, and yet he didn't say a single thing or a word bad to them, or didn't even complain to it about to anyone, and yet he was left all on his own without them. As Naruto, after seeing this, was happy, as Kurama then said, "Kid, I always have been watching you from afar. I noticed, because my chakra is connected to them. But are they saying is truth from the bottom of their heart? They are feeling guilty." As Naruto also sheds tears while hugging both of his siblings. As that is when we see Kushina on the other side was witnessing this with tears in her eyes of her own, as she went downstairs and straight towards Minato. As now we see, Minato then asked, "Kushina, is everything fine?" "It's about the kids. What happened to Menma and Mito?" "What about Naruto?" "Minato." Naruto? What happened to him?" said Minato, as if remembering something, as he had a twisted feeling in his gut. "You know, I realized that we have been ignoring him for quite a long time now, and he didn't say a single thing to us. You know, I I realized that how bad of a mother I have been to him. Heck, have I been a mother to him at all?" As on the other side we see that Minato too was quite shocked, as that is when he got up and said, "We have been too busy with the prophecy. Prophecy this, prophecy that. We forgot about our own blood. We forgot about our own son Naruto. We'll change that from tomorrow. We will." As now we see, the next morning, everything was quite different for Naruto. His parents apologized to him with a heartfelt sorry, as well as with some tears. And after opening up their heart, Naruto felt happy. Happy that his family was finally back to him until, in the evening, both Jiraiya and Hiruzen arrived. As the kids once more was on the other side, hiding in the upstairs, while Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen were in the lounge. Again. "What is it this time, Sensei? How is the training going along for the Jinchurikis as well as the Child of Prophecy? Have you decided who is amongst Menma and Mito?" "No, both of them are doing great. And Naruto himself is. Listen, Minato, sorry to stop you there, but Naruto isn't important here." As Hiruzen was the one who said this. "The important ones are either it is, well, Menma or Mito. They are the ones who are important and needed here. We have to make sure that the prophecy comes to fruition and both of them save the elemental nation. We don't want them to destroy it. Right? Because of it, right?" "Yes, but still, that doesn't make sense for Naruto to be left out." "It does. Naruto is going to just bother and hinder them. As much as I like to put it in a nice way, there is no way to put it nicely. So the best situation is, you have to move him to an orphanage." "What? I would certainly not do that," said Minato as he stood up. "Why would you even suggest that, Jiraiya-sensei?" said Minato, as now we see Jiraiya then said, "For the time being it is best. Sensei will retake the mentality of the Hokage. We will leave the village for the upcoming years to train with Tsunade and me, alongside you two. But we're not gonna leave our child alone, and put him in the orphanage would mean that we have kicked him out of the clan. What would the village think? What would the civilians think?" "I don't want this to happen. We don't want this. There is no other choice. Naruto would have to realize this is the least sacrifice you have to make for the whole elemental nations." Naruto was shaken to the core, as both Menma and Mito also gritted their teeth, and Menma, having had enough, jumped down from the stairs and then said, "I have had enough of this bullshit of prophecies. Prophecy this, prophecy that. Why don't you go and fulfill your prophecy on your own, Jiraiya?" Minato, said Jiraiya, as Minato then said, "Man must stay out of this." "I won't. Because of you, we have ignored Naruto for too long. And we have forgotten about him. And just now, today, we reconciled. And thankfully, with the kindness of that boy's heart we were forgiven. Never again. Me and Mito vowed that we would never again break his trust. As Mito then sat down as well, as Naruto was quite shocked, as she then said as well, yes, we have decided that we will side with our sibling. After all, it was our parents who taught us, family above all. Uzumaki stick together, stronger than any glue. As Kushina was proud of her children, as Minato too was surprised, as that is when Hiruzen said, I guess there is no other way. Anbus. As Anbus rushed in, as that is when we see both Minato, Kushina as well as Menma and Mito were captured and brought down to their knees. As Naruto rushed down, what are you doing? You're the cause of this, Naruto. It all happened because of you. If only you didn't existed, said Jiraiya. As that is when, suddenly, there was a slash sound, as Naruto's eyes widened, because from someone from behind slashed through his chest. As he looked up, his eyes were widened, because with tears in his eyes, it was Kakashi. I'm sorry, Naruto. I have to do this. As Naruto felt another shock as the sword was yanked out of his body. As Minato, Kushina, as well as Menma and Mito were shocked and horrified by this. As after that we see Inoichi was brought in to it. What are you going to do, Inoichi? I'm sorry, Minato. It would be best if you forget about the child. I'm gonna suppress your memories of Naruto. All of yours. As that is when Minato, Kushina, Menma and Mito's memories of Naruto's were suppressed and locked away. They forgot completely about him. And Naruto on the other side was taken far away from village by Kakashi himself. He was in tears until he arrived somewhere, as there his eyes were burning with rage. As in front of him was Itachi, so he brought him here. Yes, you were right, Itachi. Konoha has gone down to hell. They deserve to be burned. The whole elemental nation, they all deserve to be burned. What are you aiming to do now, Senpai? Use this on Naruto. I purposely aimed for non-vital organs. He will survive. But you must hurry. As after that Itachi nodded, and Kakashi left, now becoming an active spy for Itachi, who has started an organization of his own, after almost killing and eradicating the Uchiha clan, except for his sibling. As now we see, Itachi took Naruto under his wing, while on the other side, inside the mindscape, Kurama was shaken to the core and blinded by his rage for what has happened to the kid. No, don't you dare die on me, Naruto, said Kurama, as gathering all bit of his chakra that he could, he was able to save Naruto, but at the cost of being unconscious and in a comatose state of his own. As now we see, Naruto, once recovered, opened his eyes with a gasp and found himself in a cave, and there he found two red eyes glowing at him until they came to a light. It was Itachi Nisan, one of the few people who were kind to him before he defaulted from the village. Nisan? But how? You were saved by Kakashi. What? What do you mean? He purposely aimed for the sword to harm you in the non-vital organs, because the other Anbus who would have been ordered would have killed you. He took this job to save you, to make a way out for you, Naruto. As Naruto sighed and then nodded, I see. I guess I should thank him. He is feeling guilty of what he has done. You should have seen him. He was crying, was in tears. What about my parents? Unfortunately, their memories of you has been suppressed like you never existed, Naruto. Both of your siblings and your family believe that they are only a family of 4, never a family of 5. As Naruto was broken by this as well, because they had just gotten back together and were one. As Naruto then realized who were the main villains here, it was both Jiraiya as well as Hiruzen. As Naruto at that time decided that he would need to get revenge on Konoha for what they have done to his family. Even if he had to burn down the whole elemental nation, he will. Nisan, what is it, Naruto? Can you train me? of course. As after that, we have a time skip. Time skip of 3 years later. 3 years has been passed as Menma and Mito have trained and become quite prodigious shinobis in their own right, and have become the next Sanins in their own right as well. As Minato and Kushina were happy with the family they had as well. But whenever they were alone, they would feel as if something was amiss. Something forgotten by them. Something very important. That whenever they remembered, without any reason, just tears would come out of their eyes. As now we see, on the other side, Naruto has become a shinobi in his own right. A dangerous one as that. He has chosen the dark path that has been taught by him, Itachi himself, as Naruto has eradicated more than enough criminals that the blood prison for the first time what seemed like many centuries was half empty, half free. And that was the most dangerous prison in the whole elemental nation. Criminals that escaped, the criminals that went straight back to the path after coming out of that thing, were eradicated without given any chance. Naruto has taken many lives under the name of Shadow. A shinobi, a mercenary who was dangerous in his own right, so much so that nobody would dare go near him. He was a genjutsu master in his own right, to the point that it was terrifying to either determine that it was reality or just another genjutsu of the genjutsu master, the true grandmaster of genjutsus. As now we see Naruto return again from a mission, as Itachi was waiting for him. So he returned, as Itachi coughed this time, as he fell down to his knees on, said Naruto, rushing to his side. You need to take care of your health. This disease is gonna kill me one day, Naruto. You and I both know that. I'm just on bought time with this medicine, said Itachi while he threw the medicine away, as Naruto then said, even if it is true, I don't want you to die. Listen to me, Naruto, and listen to me well. One of these days I will pass away, but before I do, there's something that I need to give you. These are the eyes of Shisui that I took back from Danzo Shimura. They have Mangekyo in them, and so do I have. Once I perish, I want you to remove your eyes and replace it with them. The only person who can do that is Orochimaru. What? You want me to go to the snake bastard? He owes me a favor. I have given him a secret that has stopped him from trying to get Uchiha eyes. I see. So when are we gonna go? Now. What? But you said... I told you I have limited time, Naruto. I want this to be done before I perish. The disease is gonna kill me and soon will affect my eyes too. I don't want that to happen. The Uchiha clan's revenge. The revenge of those who have been a stepping stone for both Hiruzen and the council. And Jiraiya needs to be put down. And besides, you have to free your family, right? Naruto shifted and flinched after remembering that. Yeah, you're right. As now we see, both of them arrived to Orochimaru. And Orochimaru, with nothing more than a smirk, then gestured them to move. As after that, the operation went underway, as Naruto was able to move after a few hours. And thanks to Kurama, he was able to remove bandages as well. As now we see, Kurama inside his mind skipped and spoke. I can't believe you replaced your eyes with those pathetic ones. I had to. I don't blame you, kid. Know this, I hate those eyes. I know. But they are necessary, you know that as well, kid. Save your family. Thank you, Kurama. Now go out there. It is time. As now we see, Naruto woke up and found himself not in the lair of Orochimaru, but in the lair of the Akatsuki. Turns out, Itachi too was brought there with his removed eyes. As Naruto found out that his eyes were actually replaced, and Orochimaru too was there, tied next to, well, now a blind Itachi. Where are we? This is the base of Akatsuki, Naruto, said Orochimaru. They raided my facility and captured us. As that is when we see the real Akatsuki made their appearance. As Naruto was shocked to see them, as Naruto then asked them about their goal. And once he found out, Kurama revealed the truth to him. And within mere seconds gave him the knowledge of the sage as well, now that he possessed the same eyes that once the sage held but used them for good. Naruto, surprisingly to Kurama, was able to unlock the Rinnegan with the pure Mangekyo Sharingan that he possessed. Right after that, Naruto used the ultimate Genjutsu, Kotomatsu Kami, changing their wills, even the will of Kaguya itself, Zetsu, to change his will to his own. But they would never try to do what they were planning to do. Because if they did, they would with their own hands slit their necks. And after that we see Itachi, unfortunately because of not being given any painkillers and his eyes being removed, couldn't make it because of his illness. And after Itachi passed away after a week or so of fighting and surviving, we see that Naruto was standing with Orochimaru. What are you gonna do now, kid? I don't know. All I want is to save my family. But before doing that, I think there's one more thing I need to do. And what would that be? The Jinchurikis. I promised my friend that I would save them. Does Jinchurikis have a sad fate, kid? But I know where you're coming from. Oh. And now Naruto's journey began. He went from all the way from Sunagakure to the other elemental nations and did one thing. While their Jinchurikis were separated, he would kidnap them and then give them a proposition and would speak to even the Biju. And after doing that, with both of their consent, Naruto would separate the Biju from the Jinchuriki, because he has found a way now to save both the Jinchuriki and the Biju without any cause and harm to separate them. And once being done, Naruto would place them with a seal that would allow no other seal master to seal them again once more. And they would break their mind if they tried to remove the seal because of a Genjutsu Naruto placed on the seal as well. And after doing that, war began to spread out. As rumors began to spread that the other village was doing this, the other village was doing this. As the villages began to blame one another, and even the major villages began to do the same. As now we see, Minato and Kushina were once more, after Akage cemetery, returning back to their home, as now, in the nighttime, Naruto stood in the apartment as the crows passed by. Naruto has formed a summoning clan with the Crow clan. As Naruto then said, "It's time for you to remember." As Naruto, then using his abilities of Rinnegan, entered inside their mindscape and broke away the shackles that were holding his memories. In an instant, the whole family remembered what they had been forgetting and crying about. As that is when they all dashed to the lounge, where everything went down, and found about one thing. Or person that was standing there. No, Naruto? Is that you? Said his older brother and parents, who were on the verge of tears again. As Naruto was trying his best to not break down as well, because he has vowed that he would be strong this time. But at that moment he couldn't hold it, and he turned in. You know how much I wished for this day? This is the day your memories were sealed, said Naruto, his voice breaking and cracking because of the tears. His parents stopped him as they rushed him to a hug. As after that, Naruto and his family were out there for blood. They were betrayed by all those who they knew, even by Konoha itself. All those people that they trusted stabbed them in the back. And now it was their turn. As in a single night, thanks to Namikaze Uzumaki family, Konoha was in chaos. The scroll library of each and every major clan alongside with the Hokage office was burned down to ashes. No history whatsoever remained. The precious jutsus of the history were lost, but in reality Minato gathered all of them, which were important and could be used by anyone, which were Uzumaki's and his own, and the Hokage's, and the scroll of sealing. Took them and hid them somewhere safe, while the other scrolls were burnt. As after that,
Looks good.
they made it seem like their family has been killed and defected. Since the news spread out that the Namikaze Uzumaki family has been killed by someone, the other villages begin to see that now that the biggest hurdle was out of the way, they should take out Konoha. And so once more the wars were on the edge, and the fourth great elemental nation war was about to begin. A war that would be quite catastrophic and chaotic. But no village had a
Where are my
Jinchuriki or a Biju.
glasses? Ugh,
Even
this
those
should
of
be
Kumo,
fine.
which were on good terms, were separated because the Bijus wanted their freedom, and the Jinchurikis respected that. As now we see, deep in the forest, far away from the elemental nation, the Uzumaki Namikaze family, now warden of the now the warden of the Bijus were there, separated, as all of them could sense the wars breaking out, the death that was happening. As
Come
at that
back
moment the family
anytime.
realized who the true child of prophecy was. It was Naruto. Naruto himself realized that, but he knew his decision was final. These people need to pay for their consequences. They need to be dropped down a peg or two from their egotistical tower that they were standing on. And this was the best outcome for them. After the Great Shinobi War that continued on for 6 months ended, more than 80% of each village population was dropped down. Minor villages were eradicated, either done or barely surviving. Elemental nations has been shaken to the core. As that is when we see Jiraiya and Hiruzen begin to realize the true consequences of playing God with the prophecy. Turns out they were kicked out of the clans by Monkey as well as the Toad clan. None of the summoning clans were now affiliated to Konoha and the Elemental Nation as well. It was all because of them. And once more the 5th Great Shinobi War broke out after the news got leaked that it all happened because of the prophecy being messed by Jiraiya and Hiruzen. So to stop the war, both of them were offered by the same people that at the time stood by them as a sacrifice for public execution to appease the whole elemental nation, and that is what happened. They were publicly executed, and before their execution, they saw a family from watching them from the shadows, and made it sure that they were visible to only them. And amongst them was Naruto himself that shook them to their core. All of them had a smirk on their faces. Smirk of victory. Smirk of retribution that came for those who have decided to destroy them. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this short movie off, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. As this is it for the day. Peace.